Welcome back to Ask Amy. I'm meteorologist Amy Sweezey here to answer your weather questions. Today's question is from Mary in Orlando. Now, maybe she was kidding, maybe she wasn't, but Mary wants to know if meteorologists get paid to lie. I've actually gotten a form of this question over the years from a lot of different people, and it's a pretty regular running joke about how those weather people are always wrong. I've heard all the jokes. It must be nice to have a job where you can be wrong and still get paid. So, Mary wants to know if we are lying on purpose or not. Now, I would argue, first of all, that yes, sometimes meteorologists are wrong, but not all the time. And I can probably speak for most meteorologists and say that we do not like it when we are wrong. Sure, we laugh about it, but I also do understand that an incorrect forecast can be frustrating. We plan so much of our lives around the weather: backyard barbecues, outdoor festivals, sporting events, yard work, even some livelihoods and jobs. Research tells us that a local weather forecast is the number one reason that people watch television news. It's important. It matters. I get it. It needs to be accurate, or at least as accurate as possible. If it can't be accurate all of the time, it at least needs to be accurate most of the time. I often tell school children that if I get the forecast wrong every single day, I would probably get fired. But if I get the forecast wrong once in a while, I won't get fired, because being wrong is actually part of a weather forecaster's job. I mean, after all, it's a prediction, a forecast, an educated guess. It's not an exact science. Now, it is based in science, and despite what you may think, meteorologists do not throw darts at a dartboard to determine if they should say today will be sunny or cloudy. Despite what you may have heard, there is a lot that goes into making a weather forecast. Being familiar with an entire area and its weather patterns, the consistencies, the inconsistencies, certainly helps. But an understanding of the atmosphere and its fluid motion is really at the heart of forecasting. Let me use an example that maybe will help. Let's say that you had a rock and you dropped it into a pond. It creates a little ripple that pushes out from either direction where the rock goes in the water. Now, imagine if you were given an assignment to determine what time the wave from that rock was going to hit the other side of the pond. There's a lot of variables that you would need to know in order to figure this out. How big is the rock and how much does it weigh? How deep and how wide is the water? Is the wind blowing? How fast and from which direction? Are there any fish in the water swimming? That could impact the ripples moving. What is the terrain like at the bottom of the pond? Is it all flat, or are there piles of grass or maybe seaweed? Now imagine if you took all of those factors into account and you could come up with a math equation that would determine exactly what time the wave would hit the other side of the pond. As soon as you have all of that figured out and you're ready to make a calculation, a kid jumps in the pond a few feet away from you. Now what? How is that going to affect the timing of the wave? Now, there's even more questions that you have to answer and add to the mathematical equation. How much does the kid weigh? How close was he to the rock when he jumped in? Were his arms in or out? At what time did he jump in the water compared to when my rock plopped into the water? See how it starts getting so complicated and complex? Like the pond, the atmosphere is a fluid and it's constantly in motion. Air, moisture, heat, energy, everything in the atmosphere is constantly moving and constantly changing. Not only are we trying to determine what time rain will begin to form along a cold front, but we're also trying to determine the timing of the rain's arrival in a specific place based around all the other things that are moving within the atmosphere. And not just near the cold front, but really all over the entire globe. When you think of it that way, suddenly this easy job of weather forecasting doesn't seem so easy anymore. Anyone who's ever studied meteorology, including just a beginner college class, will tell you that the more you know about the atmosphere, the more you realize you don't know and how much more there is to know. It is interesting and fascinating, but it's also complex and confusing. The other thing about forecasting is that weather constantly changes. The earth just doesn't stand still, it's constantly moving. So everything that makes up the weather is constantly moving and constantly changing as the earth moves. Warm air rises, cool air sinks. The wind is always blowing. Storms develop, build, and dissipate. If you live to be 100 years old and computers and AI get even more technologically advanced, you still won't be able to find a weather forecaster who can get the forecast 100% right 100% of the time. It just can't be done. It's a prediction. And at least as of right now, AI can't predict the future. It can and has helped us with better accuracy and better computer modeling. But at least for now, the humans are still needed for interpreting the computer's output. I get that meteorology isn't brain surgery. It's not neurology. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not a school teacher or firefighter. I'm not doing any other number of things that really deserve kudos and are really kind of important jobs. Every once in a while, I get to help someone stay safe from an extremely dangerous situation like a tornado or a hurricane. But on a day-to-day basis, meteorologists just talk about the weather. I take pride in my work. I want to be accurate. I want to be clear. I want you to watch my forecast. But sometimes I do get it wrong. We all do. It's part of the job. I try to learn from it. I accept it. And I hope that you will too. Thank you, Mary in Orlando, for the great question. If this answer was helpful to you, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up on this video. And of course, while you're at it, feel free to subscribe to this channel to see all of my Amy Sweezey content. If you have a weather question to ask, like Mary did, you can hop on over to my website, amysweezey.com. There's a contact tab at the top. Keep checking back here on YouTube then to see if your question is answered. Oh, and check the Ask Amy playlist first. I may have already answered your burning weather question that someone else asked earlier. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.